For the town of Alburnett, required hours are 43 through the month of October, 110.43. 31 calls for service.
Looks good. Informally, council, any questions for the deputy? Very good. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We'll get
Anything
you
to
back
address?
on the road.
Nope. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, deputy.
Be safe. See you.
We've got officially about a minute and a half before we start, so we're going to go ahead and recognize that time in case any other citizens wish to join us before 7 p.m. But I hate to keep law enforcement tied up if they have something else going on.
Sure they do.
Sounds like the weather could go either way this evening. What are we coming at? What's facing us tonight and tomorrow?
The last I heard is back down to a trace to an inch, so.
Well, I suppose I should ask you too. You guys probably track that closer. What are we looking at tomorrow? Worst case, what is it, 9 p.m. that the weather's supposed to come in?
Yeah. Done by 7, it sounds like.
Good.
Well, I was gonna ask, I was gonna call you today, you come to get salt, because Hiawatha was.
No. I still have a pile of salt and sand left from last year, so I've got to start with seed stock, but yes, I'll be coming in. Or I might just see if you guys can break it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're the city, we do what we want. We'll haul you 20 ton if you want.
I don't want any more this year, so just maybe more than the 5 ton that I can haul.
Are we live? We're ready to go? All right. It is 7 p.m. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order for Thursday, November 8th, 2018. It is 7 p.m. Again, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. In the city of Alburnett, for those of you who have not attended before, we do the Pledge of Allegiance before we start each meeting. So I'll go ahead and ask the council to stand. The audience may stand if they wish to do so, and I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd ask our clerk of court to go ahead, conduct roll call, and confirm for the record that we do have a quorum.
Counselor Menson?
I'm here.
Counselor Sayers here. Counselor Shantz?
Present.
Counselor Trump?
Here.
Mayor McClintock?
I am present. Would you please let the record reflect that we have a quorum to conduct business this evening? All right. This evening, being November, and in a few days here, we will have Veterans Day. So I will be doing a proclamation this evening, recognizing the veterans of not only the United States, of course, but here in the city of Alburnett. We've asked the citizens in our newsletter previous to the council meeting if they wish to submit their names, their information of their service dates, not only for those that were veterans, but anyone that had served in uniform that lives here within the city of Alburnett, or family members that we would recognize them as well. So I would like to officially recognize those. Before I read off the names for the roll call of the folks that we are going to be recognizing this evening, I've had a conversation with the council members prior to this and our members of city staff. We are all very appreciative of our veterans and those men and women that have served in uniform in all capacities, and we would like to officially recognize them. Also this evening, as I go through the information, Mayor Pro Tem Saracen will be presenting the proclamation, and Mr. Givens will be receiving on behalf of our veterans within the city of Alburnett. So let me go through the roll here and the names, and I will list them off, and then I'll ask you to read the proclamation and have you receive it. Would you also capture a photo for us for the record as well, so we can put that on the website or do that at a later time. So in no particular order, let me go through some of the information here. So we'd like to recognize Al Berry, serving with our National Guard. Don Boise, if I'm getting any of these wrong, Boyce, served in Korea. Jim Crawford, served with Air Force. Dave Ely, who served with National Guard Reserve component. Brian Eschen served in the Army. Ronnie Etzel, Vietnam. Mike Givens served with Air Force. Elaine Gunn, Army, 15 years of service. Gordon Gunn, Army, 22 years of service. David Leach served in Desert Storm Shield. Davey Martin with the Navy. Leland Millard, Army, service years 57 through 60. Rex Naylor, who also served in Vietnam. Dick Ritzy, also serving in Vietnam. Matt Shantz, serving with the Army. Dean Stick, served in the Army, Staff Sergeant with the Armored Division. Eugene Stick, who also served in the Army, Staff Sergeant. James Stick, Army, served in World War II, Japan Theater. T.J. West, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom in both Iran and Afghanistan. John Wickman and Kent Wright, we also recognize them for their service. I'm also on the list. I did serve 21 years in the Iowa Army National Guard, as well as all members of my family as well. So I'm, of course, no longer in the military, but I do recognize and appreciate everyone who serves currently and in the past. I'd like to do two other honorable mentions. Richard Allen, a Staff Sergeant, served in the not only global war on terrorism, but also in the Iraqi war, and Stephen Pitts, a sergeant that also did. So appreciate an honorable mention to them as well. So if we missed anyone that is also a veteran and served or currently in uniform and serving, just because they're not on the list and we didn't get to them doesn't mean that we honor them any less. We want to make sure that we make that also very clear to the citizens. So this is something, while I serve in the capacity as mayor, and I'm sure this council also, we intend to do this on a annual basis to make sure we recognize our veterans, and we certainly appreciate that. I'd ask Mr. Givens to come forward, and I would ask that Mayor Pro Tem Saracen read the proclamation and make the presentation at this time.
Mayor, this is Gordon and Elaine Gunn, too.
Oh,
If
very
you want
good.
to come forward, too, maybe?
Absolutely. Would you come
Yep.
up so we could also get the photograph? That's great.
That's great. Fantastic. We didn't know who would show, so glad you're here. Glad
Yes.
you're here.
15 and 22 years. That is awesome, right? I got that correct, didn't I?
Yes.
Good. Thank you so much.
Whereas on Veterans Day, we pay tribute to the service and sacrifice of the men and women who, in defense of our freedom, have bravely worn the uniform of the United States of America. And whereas since the birth of our nation, American patriots have stepped forward to serve our country and defend our way of life. With honor and distinction, generations of servicemen and women have taken up arms to win our independence, preserve our union, and secure our freedom. On Veterans Day, we salute the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who have rendered the highest service any American can offer, and we rededicate ourselves to fulfilling our commitment to all those who served on our behalf. And whereas our country is forever indebted to all our soldiers in uniform and veterans for their quiet courage and exemplary service, we remember and honor those who have laid down their lives in freedom's defense. These brave men and women made the ultimate sacrifice for our benefit. On Veterans Day, we remember these heroes for their valor, loyalty, and dedication. Their selfless sacrifices continue to inspire us today as we work to advance peace and extend freedom around the world. Now, therefore, Mayor McClintock and the City of Alburnett do hereby recognize November 11th, 2018 as Veterans Day, and further proclaim that this month of November 2018 be formally recognized as an official tribute to all members of the armed forces, both past and present. I call upon all citizens to observe this month of November 2018 likewise, and thank our soldiers for their service.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, could you three? Yeah, that'd be great.
That's great. I'd like to get a shot for her.
Thank you. Mayor, would you join him? You're
Absolutely.
a veteran, too.
You guys can see this one.
What's your name?
Mike Givens.
All right. Beautiful. That looks great.
Thank
for your service.
And thank you
Appreciate it.
again for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, that completes the proclamation. We'll go ahead and move on to the approval agenda. I'd seek a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Saracen. Second by Trum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We've completed our sheriff's report, so we can get him back on the road. We'll move on to the mayor's report. A couple things that I do want to cover this evening besides, again, my official thanks to the veterans and that proclamation. We do appreciate that. Just a few things that I'd like to note, not only for the record, but for the folks here. If you've had an opportunity to look around the room and you've been here before, you can see that we have made some improvements to our facility here at City Hall. We leased this facility, however, we've entered into quite a long-term lease over the years, but not only for the future, for the area in which we're seated for City Hall. It's become advantageous for us and for the property owner for us to maintain our City Hall here, and it's become an area that the citizens have become familiar with, and we'd like to maintain our presence here. Part of the initiative for this year and the years to come was to improve our City Hall and make it more of a facility of a government building and something that our citizens could enjoy, use, and be proud of, and we've been trying to make advancements in the improvements here. So I hope that you have an opportunity as attending these meetings to see some of the improvements that we've made. At the completion of the improvements, I'm going to call upon council for us to do a open house and invite the citizens either before a council meeting or maybe on a specialized day to come in and see the improvements that we've made to City Hall. We'll talk about it later in the council meeting, but we're not done, let me say that. Some of the improvements that we made was updating our technology to allow folks to be able to see the information that we talk about at council meetings. As you know, or most of you would know, that our council meetings are recorded and placed on YouTube. So if you don't have an opportunity to attend a meeting, you can go and watch the meetings on the internet and keep caught up with what's going on within the city. We've made improvements to our website. It was a priority that we'd done over the last year or so. Mr. Givens has worked on that as well as council members to improve the information that's available and put out to citizens. And then we've also made improvements to the facility. You can see that we've got a nice new, maybe you can still smell it, I don't know, a nice new fresh coat of paint. But we've also done improvements to the lighting and to the facility itself, again, the technology. And then you can see that we're also working on improving, we're a bit under construction right now, but improving the facility as far as storage, and hopefully after this evening we'll have approval to complete the project, which will be set seating for council. That will improve the audio quality and the seating area for citizens to attend. So I did want to mention that, and I also want to thank council for their support up to this point for making those improvements. As we go through individual council reports, you can hear from each member as they have their own comments on that. Secondly, I did want to mention one thing that wasn't on the agenda, but it came up in the past. Our clerk is getting ready to have some leave that's coming up very soon, and an item which I intended to get on the October meeting, it has been talked about in the past. I'm going to try to fit it in as old business, and I'll ask that it be recognized during the financial report. Is a laptop for our clerk of court, so she'll be able to work remotely while she's on leave. It's a $1,200 expense. I'm going to ask that that be recognized during the financial section as an amendment. I wanted to bring that up. I was absent in October, but I believe that that's going to be an expense that's going to be necessary, as I don't believe the clerk will be available for us in December, that this needs to be action in November. So those were the two items that I did want to add under my particular report. I don't have anything else. I'll go ahead and move to council reports. Councilman Menson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Joe, for coming and painting. When was that, Saturday?
I think we did do it on Saturday. I think we scheduled it for 2 days and we were so quick that we got it done in, you know, if the paint job is good, then we did it. If it's bad, then then these guys did it.
Well, as I said before the meeting started, I do believe that side of the room looks much better than this side.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
I second that. Thank you for your time. It looks fantastic. As far as my committee's city website's up and running, we're going to continue to look and make improvements, but we've got the base there and ready to go. One thing I would like to start working with the clerk, maybe not before her leave, but upon return, is to start putting out a newsletter. So maybe we need to advertise how to get people signed up, and we can facilitate an electronic newsletter.
Very good. I think the website has the capability for signing up or whatever. We just need to.
We need to draw attention and get
Continue
people,
it on to it.
get
All right.
people out there so they know that it's available.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to thank the members that did come in and paint, which I was not one of them. I was at my granddaughter's basketball game, so I was unable to attend. And during the month, Danielle and I met with our financial advisors, Spear Financial, and I just thought I'd give you some information here on our outstanding bonds that we have right now. First one I'm going to talk about is a $810,000 general obligation bond that was for the sewer, and for the year of 18, we paid in a total of $80,085. Of that, $34,837.50 was from TIF, and $45,247.50 came out of debt service, which is out of our tax money, which amounted to about $114.56 per thousand on your taxes. Kind of give you an idea of how things went. Okay, our other one that we have is a $700,000 one, and that was for basically Moodart Street. And that one, we paid in, for the year, we paid in $68,784.44. Out of that, that was paid by Lost, which is our sales tax that we get for that. Road use tax, that Lost was $20,000. Road use tax was $23,784. Our equipment reserve was $20,000, and we paid out of our water revenue, we paid $5,000. There was nothing taken out of debt reserve. There was no tax on that whatsoever. One other bit of information that I got that I thought you might be interested in is that our remaining bonding capability is $1,120,044. Are there any questions?
The bonding capability becomes important later on for projects that we may have to, or we may find important to the city down the road, whether it's construction or items like that. One particular item that is on the agenda that we're looking at is a new fire department. And although the majority of that funding is either held in reserves or cash on hand, or is held by the fire department. The chief can brief on that later in his report if he chooses to do so, but the majority of that money is already available. But if it came down to it in one fiscal year or another, if we didn't have the funds set aside, that's an item that we could bond for, or improvements or things like that to the city. But the point is, the city is financially sound, and much of that credit goes to not only good, astute financial guidance, but also the manner in which the council has handled finances for the city and frugal bonding.
I thought as we get to the fire department thing, I've got some information
Absolutely.
on bonding for that, but I thought it'd be more pertinent to bring that up in our top of the fire department.
But this alone shows how sound we are as a city and how well things have gone.
Right, there's some of, if we were to do this bonding, we probably would have to have a vote of the people.
Sure, go to referendum.
Referendum to approve it, but that kind of gives you an idea what do we got to work with here.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Trump.
No additional comments.
Very good. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to citizens' comments. There are two types of citizen comments in the city of Alburnett. We allow for agenda items and non-agenda items. First, for the first type, non-agenda items, if you wish to make a comment as a citizen, all we ask is that you state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have up to 5 minutes to give your comments to council. And this would be for items that are not on the agenda. Not on the agenda. Is there anyone that wishes to make any comments to council? Okay, seeing none, then we'll go ahead and ask to see if there's anyone that would like to make agenda item comments. Agenda item comments. Also, you'll have up to 5 minutes. State your name and address clearly for the record, and you'll be able to make comments. Okay, very good. And seeing none, we'll move on to item 10. These are the written reports. We'll recognize Chief Graham first with the fire department. He has submitted a written report. I've had an opportunity to review it. Do you have any further comments besides your written report?
Couple extras, there's a third part of that class I took a couple months ago in December. I signed up for it, $25. That was kind of last time we did. And this second one, so I'll have to make that up sometime. But, the sidewalk by the fire station, this summer it heaved, and it kind of goes like that. We had a call last week where a guy in a wheelchair fell off the edge of that. It's up off the gravel about like that. Put a big knot on his head, and just wonder if we can get that fixed.
That's in front of the bay doors there.
No, it's actually on the grass part going past the fire station, by the fire hydrant.
We go there.
I'm waiting patiently for Dan Sherman. That's on the list of that and several others. We need to talk too about cutting out some of that busted up concrete in front of the station there. How we do it, you know, so you can still get trucks in and out when you need to. We'll have to do it a section at a time. So,
Okay.
I just want to bring that up.
Okay.
Just want to look at that address. I seen one other item on here about the cable television. It doesn't sound like that's an option, but we are pursuing getting an antenna for that. Okay.
That was just a reminder for you guys. I mean, I really don't have much, just to.
Okay. All right, very
I
good.
want to talk to you afterwards about the website.
Okay.
There's some things on.
Any other comments, Chief? Okay, so we'll put that to the top of the list for the second one. Okay, very good. All right, Public Works will recognize you.
I don't have anything additional to my report, I don't believe. Been busy working in here. And other than that, things are going well. We have had two, just for clarification, two interested parties in the skid loader. One is another municipality. That interest came through the ad on Clerksnet, and the other one is an individual. And they both seem quite interested, so there's action there, just so you know. I'll probably have to send out an email if we get an offer. I doubt anybody's gonna wanna wait a month if something comes in the next week, so just be aware, I could be sending something out on that, so. Otherwise, all is well, I believe.
And you feel good about the pre-preparation for taking over double duty here soon?
Absolutely, yes, yes.
Okay.
Are we gonna have the girls from Providence come up with this?
What is the status?
Well, we had that conversation the other day, and it sounds like you've given the Robbins people a heads up.
Oh, yeah, I wrap myself with people that can help. No problem. We have a rental. They brought
Free
it,
rental.
not free rental, yes. And it actually turned out to be a track machine. I thought it was gonna be a wheel machine. It's the size bigger than what we're getting, but it's virtually identical to what we're going to get. So still on track for December. Our salesman, however, from Housby quit, so haven't met the new guy
His
yet.
loss.
So, anyway.
One more question.
Yes.
Did Marion ever get a hold of you about striping?
No. should I be pesting? I didn't know whether I should be a pest or not on it.
Yeah, because he probably forgot,
That's what I wondered, okay.
because they already put the white paint away. And
I'll
more-
shoot an email out tomorrow and see what kind of response I get.
Okay.
Have you pushed up the refuge pile? I haven't been up there in about a week. Okay.
Okay.
Anything new on a Christmas tree for next?
I haven't made any contact. I talked to Kenny Andrews and that's probably not gonna be a deal. And I hear Doug Keel is not in very good health. I haven't figured out how to get a hold of him without being, again, a pest to his family. He had told someone once that he had several trees that he would allow to go, but I gotta track down that information trail on who
Oh,
I
that's
need to talk
right.
to. What?
Oh, that's his wife.
Oh, yeah, cause she's on the park.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if she knows her plans.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be good. I asked one other guy that had a lot of trees, and he's like, no, not. And then Kenny was like, we're in the business of selling trees, not giving them away, so, anyway, which I understand.
Any other comments? Recognize the clerk for any comments or updates.
Just wanna say thank you again for painting and all the help that you guys have done. The mayor and Guy worked really hard this week, so I really appreciate that. Counselor Saracen helped us with a stray dog today, and that was very helpful, so.
Did we get that dog returned?
We
I believe
did.
so,
Yeah, it was supposed to be picked up at 4 p.m. today, so.
It's gone.
As long as it's no longer tied to the water.
Tied to the Wi-Fi.
Well, you're quite welcome. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. Other than, I'll put it under old business as far as addressing the improvement costs and the your laptop for associated costs with that. I'll ask for approval at that time. So under the consent agenda, unless anyone has any changes to those previous minutes or bills to add, let's go ahead and recognize that now. Clerk, is there any bills to add?
They're on that list.
Okay, then I'll turn it over to you, Chester. Is there any additions?
As far as I know, they're all approved.
Any questions from council prior to approving the consent agenda? I'll seek a motion to approve consent agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Sean, second by Trump.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We'll move to item 12, new business. Review and approval of the RFP that's submitted by the new fire station. I did ask for this item to be submitted. This has been submitted 2 months ago. They had 60 days to review it for the fire chief and his committee. His committee has reviewed it. I've talked to the fire chief. They have no further comments. I submitted it, I didn't, the clerk submitted it to the council members for your review. You've had it, it's in your packet if you've had an opportunity to look at that. I'd seek approval this evening from the council to go ahead and move forward with the request for proposal to seek architectural engineering and construction services for the new fire station for Alburnett, Iowa. Again, what you'll be approving is the release of the RFP to seek services only. So this particular RFP would allow us, and again, you can still make edits to it prior to the release, but this has been a mayor and council commitment that we would get this out this calendar year is what I would hope to get it done. So your approval tonight would allow this RFP to go out, seek professional services. Those services, in a nutshell, would come in. They would allow us to, or they would provide us with professional services for the development, the architectural, the engineering portion, and then the building of the facility on our land to the west of town. So basically, they provide the services that allow us to do that. We fund it. So unless there's any objection to it, this would release this RFP to do that.
I move we proceed with this RFP.
There's a motion by Trum to release the RFP,
Wait a second, the motion.
second by Menson. Any other discussion?
I guess I just have two slight questions. We'll address the dates, correct? Because this has a November 30th
Correct, this is
deadline.
the dates that are on here. In the electronic version that was submitted to you, you'll see that the dates were still highlighted with comments, noting that those would have to be updated and so on and so forth.
And then also the 6.11, which is, says if we have anything else to add, I would just drop that. I don't have anything else to add, so.
Okay, so then I would seek a motion that we release the updated version of the RFP, if that would be acceptable. Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Trump, second by Mintz, and any other discussion?
I got one other thing
Sure.
I'd like to bring up. That is, in case we would absolutely need to, go ahead and issue some bonds.
Yes?
To finish that off, we're allowed to go ahead and issue $400,000 worth of bonds without having a meeting or a vote of the public. We could just go ahead and have it, announce it, have a public hearing here, and go ahead and we wouldn't have to spend it or anything like that. We could wait till we had the cost or what we really needed, and then go ahead and issue them. But this would give you an idea of what it would be. That's a maximum that we can do without having a vote of the public.
Very good. And it may become necessary,
I don't know, I would wait to find out for sure. But anyway, that would make we'd have payments of $32,132 every year for that, which would amount to $71.81 per thousand.
for taxable,
For taxable money on it. And the other thing that
that's property
tax.
tax.
The other thing they recommended is that we get in contact with somebody to help us raise funds. Go ahead and, they said that they normally, what was it, from 1 to 5% annual, is that correct? And they thought that would be a lot easier and better luck that way than try to do ourselves. They said they set up a web page and their experience at raising money for this type of thing. And I don't know, did you talk to anybody about it yet?
I put something out on ClerkNet, but I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Respond.
Because other towns have done this.
Yeah, I don't think
With
there's,
success.
I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to have to seek some form of assistance through the public and for fundraising. Successful cities that have done fire departments initiatives like this or built facilities in the past have done fundraising. And Chief Graham can tell you that they've done fundraising up to this point. They've been successful. A good portion of the funding that we have for cash on hand or funding on hand, you folks have provided, either through yourself or the township. And the city has set aside a considerable amount of money for this project as well. But we're not fully funded. I want to make that clear going into the project. It is not fully funded. This is potentially a $500,000 project going in, entering the project, and we're not there yet. So I agree with Councilman Shantz. We need to make sure that we keep the bonding issue in our back pocket, and we need to seek professional services, even if we do it from the council side and you folks continue from what you do on the fire side or the township side. We need to make sure we do that. This, like I said, has been a priority for myself and the council, and with the release of this RFP, we are committed to building this new fire station timely. And timely to me means 12 to 18 months. So let's get it done.
I know, I would recommend that they kind of cooperate between the two of them,
Absolutely.
because there's no reason why they can't use your people for pictures and advertising and stuff like that to help get the ball rolling.
Other comments from council members concerning the RFP or the new fire station? Chief, anything you want to add considering talk about the new fire station here or funding?
I think so. I don't remember what we have on hand.
Okay.
Jeremy sent us, but
30,000, I think.
Very good. All right, then I'll go ahead and seek a vote then, and since there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We'll release the RFP once it's updated. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to Resolution 11-2018-1 to approve the TIF tax increment financing certificate. And I assume this is going to go hand in hand with the urban renewal since it's TIF. So it's in your packet. You've had an opportunity to review that resolution. I'll entertain a motion whenever you're ready.
I move we approve resolution 11-2018-01.
There's a motion by Saracen to approve the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Trum. Any discussion?
We'll do a roll call.
Would you call it for me, please?
Counselor Menson?
Yes.
Counselor Sarahson? Aye. Counselor Shum?
Yes.
Counselor Trump?
Yes.
There's no opposition then. Let the record reflect that we have a unanimous to pass the resolution. We'll move on to item C, which is review and approve the annual urban renewal. I assume that's associated to the TIF since it's for urban renewal. That's also in your packet. If you would approve that, we'll also need a motion for approval, I would assume.
Yes, but we don't need a resolution, so
Just a regular motion.
correct.
Entertain a motion to approve the urban renewal report as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Menson,
Second.
second by Trum. All those, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. That will take us on to number 13, old business. Before we get to item A, I'm going to do my friendly amendment since it has been old business in the past. As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to complete the final phase. Again, I apologize it's not on here, but it is old business. We'd like to complete the final phase of the work that you see in front of us. They're done in two parts. It's been discussed many times over the last few months. It'd be approximately $2,500 to complete the shelving to all the way across, which gets rid of the items that you see sitting behind us, and is in the same format of the items that you see, or the shelving that you see behind us. So what you see here would go on across with a gap in the middle to recognize our state and national colors between us. And then an additional 25 that will make permanent council seating. When I say permanent, I guess I should say semi-permanent. If we leave this facility in 3 to 5 years because of the construction of our own city hall or another facility, each one of these items would come with us. We own them, they're ours, they're just installed property. So I want to make that clear that any investment made by the city is our equipment. No different than these computers in here or that TV or anything else. We own it, it goes with us. So unless there's venomous opposition to this, I would like a motion to go ahead and approve the final phase of this project, which is $2,500 expenses to complete it.
Does the council seating include the desks and the floor?
Yes, that would give us the sound that we need for good quality sound, not only from the council members, but also the audience.
Does this include the audio, or have we already passed that?
It's my understanding that the seating has the audio built into each one, and that was part of the price.
Yeah, we'll put
Okay.
it's just a wiring issue more than anything. Put a mic on each table.
So this is gonna finish this off then.
Finishes the project. The labor is free, obviously, because we're donating it. Either Guy's time is his time, but obviously anything that council people donate or myself is free.
I'm happy to see progress. I think it looks really nice, much more professional, so I would move that we approve the rest of the project for the remaining $5,000.
Second.
There's a motion by Saracen, second by Trum. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. It is a worthwhile project. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on then to, I take that back. The other open item out there. I'm sorry.
All right. I would have told you.
Our clerk is getting ready to go on maternity leave, if you haven't been able to notice. I'm sorry, it's noticeable. You're within days. She has worked very diligently with what she has here for equipment, but she is in need of a computer to be able to work off facility. Again, I apologize, I was gone last month, I didn't get it on the agenda, but it has been discussed in the past. Our other city employees have laptops. I believe we did last time a cost not to exceed $1,200 when we did it. If we can get this on here, I would appreciate it. Is the council's, I'll call it an emergency action item. Do we see any issue with this here?
Just so you know, there is a laptop, but it's not updatable, too old.
That is how old again?
Oh, 8?
8 or 10 years?
Oh, that one's only 12? I thought that was a 10. Okay, 6 years old.
It's still that, doesn't hold charge. I would also like to say that I spoke with Danielle, and she recently attended some conferences where a laptop is almost necessary to, keep notes or whatever it is. So it's more than just the maternity leave, it would be a long-term use object as well.
And so can we get approval for not to exceed $1,200 for a laptop for our city clerk?
So moved according to the, I read specs someplace about the proposed
We have a
processor and hard drive. I move that we proceed with buying a laptop. for that.
motion by Trum, second by Shantz. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Again, thank you, council. I'm sorry that that got added late. All right, now, sir,
All right.
I am sorry that I had to fit all that other stuff in, so we'll go ahead and recognize
That's my
MSA.
update. I'm Ryan Hush with MSA. Joe was at another meeting today, so he sent me, so, sorry. No. First thing, culvert replacement project. We got that all figured out. Contract is signed. Survey is scheduled for November. We were hoping to get it done before the snow flies, but we might lose that battle today. So, the reason we're kind of holding it back is you guys at the last meeting talked about a sanitary sewer extension to the ball fields, the ACDC ball fields. They were looking at putting a bathroom in. So we looked at a couple cost estimates for a couple options. One option is to just extend the sanitary from the manhole on Naylor Drive out and go right down the middle of the street, take out the concrete, put it in, do a Y out to the bathroom. The other option is to bend it over to the ditch along the road and then go down the ditch and have a Y at that end. The reason for that.
Is that visible up here on the?
Oh, yeah, if you go to that contract, there's a drawing at the very.
Yeah, I
okay.
think I'm in the wrong place here. I can work on trying to.
Okay, all right, very good.
Yeah, we'll bring up a little drawing, but so the reason for doing that is to save money on concrete. Concrete's the most expensive part, so the less concrete we take out, the cheaper it is to build. Our option one was $41,000, and option two is $32,000. These are, I'd like to note that these are municipal prices for public bid jobs, and some of the numbers might be a little skewed either direction because we're gonna get quotes. Since it's under the threshold, you guys can get direct quotes from contractors. The $49,500 is the max project cost that you can not bid publicly. So a guy can go to any contractor he wants and get competitive quotes instead of open bid. So yeah, here's the drawing I sent with the contract, or the amendment. Just at the end of Naylor Drive, there's a manhole right by this car, right here. And what we would do is we just extend it out and we put a manhole either here or here. We may need to talk with, I think the ball down would be all right if we went on their property and maybe did an easement, or it's for them, so it'll probably be all right. So yeah, do an extension out and then have a little stub come out. Their future bathroom was gonna be right in this area, from what we understood. It's pretty quick. We would just amend and add it to the stormwater contract for the culvert and kind of do it all together, do the survey all together, to cut down on costs, and to, we would have to bid it, or not bid it, but quote it separately, so it would be two different plan sets, so a guy could take one and get two separate quotes for two separate projects. The addendum, the amendment is for $5,800. That's a total estimated fee, which is a time and materials thing, so I think it's good for everybody. It's how much time it takes us to do it, and that's how much we bill you. So I hope to get it done faster, obviously, because cheaper the better, right? But I don't wanna go over too crazy, so. Any questions, I guess?
If for some reason the end of that street would get developed sometime in the future, would there be one advantage to going down the center versus the other?
I really think, it's really up to that guy too, he's kind of the guy that's gotta take care of it. If we do a bend, we have to put in a clean out. We
That's
would-
the bend coming
down.
the less
the ditch,
expensive.
The less expensive option.
Yep.
It's kind of a maintenance nightmare. That bend can collect stuff and it starts to clog. It really is a lot cleaner just to go right down the middle. I know it's a little more expensive, but in my opinion, it's always better to just go right with one straight line. And then, yeah, in the future, if you guys do develop something there, you'll have a nice straight access, and we'll put a manhole at the end either way. So either way, you'll be able to connect into it. You'll just have that weird, if you do the cheaper option, you'll just have that kind of bend. That's just kind of a maintenance thing. I don't know, what do you think, Guy?
Down the road, you know, it's hard, most people don't dig to the depth of sewer, but if you have a bend in a sewer line is unusual. And if the manhole becomes covered up, and you're trying to tell somebody who's boring or doing whatever where the sewer is, the guy behind me, if he doesn't look at the map, he's automatically gonna think that line is going straight. So that's another thing on top of the cleaning.
And we could do a tracer wire on it,
Well,
which
yeah,
is
but-
also, again, unusual. Nobody will probably ever look for the tracer wire, which would be a little wire that they could hook up to and locate it.
So, another thing to add to that, I have done sewer maintenance, with putting that bend in, with there only being a bathroom, a single bathroom on this, it's gonna plug, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, we would probably design it to be pretty steep. We'd have to look at the grades, but we would try to get it not at a minimum slope. We wanted to have a good long pitch on it to get through there.
But you never know, if that club gets strong, they could do pretty amazing stuff down there too. So we also want to be able, if we're gonna do this, be able to service something else that might pop up. If things go well for them and they choose to do, you know, an expansion of their building and they wind up with more and more people there, we don't want to put in something that we're just gonna have to upsize again or straighten out or whatever.
We would probably match what's there already, probably 8, and it would just be an extension.
After hearing the comments of everyone, I think we ought to run straight down the street.
Yeah, it is more expensive, but
I mean, I think in the long run, it's a smart thing to do. I mean, it's just like a lot of other things, you know. Cheapest isn't always the best item.
Yeah, I mean, we could put 2 manholes. We could do a manhole at the bend location, but then your cost savings really goes away.
So I think we ought to go straight. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Which I know doesn't mean much.
Well, that seems to make most sense. to
I
me.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, from an engineering standpoint, that seems to make more sense to you.
Yeah, I like uniformity
And
and,
somebody that runs sewers, that makes sense to them, so.
yeah.
Good.
I wasn't here last month, I just
Okay.
have a couple questions, and this can go to council as well. This particular project extends from a city manhole down onto the Diamond Club property, so they can put in their, obviously, their
Yeah.
facilities or whatever. At some point, it's gonna stop on city property, being the street, and enter onto private property, being the Diamond Club, is that correct?
At the end of the paving.
And then it'll be
Yeah.
placed into there, and then the extension comes off, so they can obviously put in bathrooms, is that correct? All right, so I've got that part. I don't know, I apologize again, I did not watch the minutes if they're posted, or I mean, the video from last month that was posted. I just haven't had time. So this expense for this particular project, is this all city cost if pursued?
Yes.
Except for the hookup.
Except for the hookup.
Okay, but we would pay for all the costs regardless of whether it's on their property or our property, all the way to it?
Yes.
What came up, Mayor, is, you know, they were looking at alternatives because there was no way for them to connect to the sewer. It's too far from their property. So what came up at the last meeting was they're within city limits. It's a service that we provide. And so we approved extending, or exploring getting quotes to extend
And
that.
the other side was, you know, that's a service to the community, you know, baseball games, school
Sure.
activities.
And there's a potential for development, so it behooves us just to get it in there. At that time, we didn't know it would extend into the private property.
Yeah.
This is the first.
Okay. It's right there.
Are we gonna have to get any easements down there?
Yes.
My question.
Yes.
Yes, and I don't have that in, but we can definitely do those. I can add that in, it might be a little more, and have our surveyor guys draw something up and get everybody to do it.
We really need, I think we need an easement.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
some
there's
kind
water
of
running through there.
maintenance,
Cause there should be an easement, there's water.
an easement for
running through there.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, there is a water main that runs, guy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like right here, right?
Yeah.
Like right down, so there's gotta be already an easement there for
Okay.
that.
Can we
So,
piggyback on? I don't,
that is a question for our
or
surveyor.
does that have to be a separate, anyway, we can explore that. The one other thing that got mentioned, Mayor, that you wouldn't have heard is, it's possible that that sewer will be close enough to the water main. We may have to use water quality pipe for the sewer, because there's a rule about how close sewer and water lines can be unless we use water quality pipe. So it could raise the cost, but in that short run, it's not
Yeah.
gonna amount to.
I thought that was only if we went over and
Yeah.
got the ditch.
No, because we're gonna cross that main no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, $60 a foot for the price, so that's crazy.
That's the water
Yeah, that's-
quality.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the water.
it's just DNR rules that we'd have to follow if we're gonna come close enough to that water main.
I assume there's gonna be some tearing up of the road here, obviously.
Yeah,
Put
so
that
what
down
we
the
would do
middle.
is we
Whose
would-
residence is that's gonna be affected?
We would take out, we would plan to take out just the middle panels, so like, I think it's like 16 feet, down right down the middle, so they would still have access on the,
To be able to get up.
get through. And the contract will say that when you dig a hole, you gotta fill it back in overnight, you know, you can't.
Sure.
They never like to leave a hole open anyway, because it's a huge liability for contractors, so.
One, that's a straight short shot.
This
If they're there first thing in the morning and got the
Construction most
concrete
likely
set.
would be,
Construction
Next
most
spring?
likely would probably be the spring, just like the culvert project, just because now concrete's gonna get more expensive, because you're gonna have to cover it. So,
Makes sense.
So, what are you seeking this evening?
So yeah, I guess I'm just seeking approval for, the amendment, to sign the amendment for our contract for the culvert. And then, that's all, and I'll get the surveyors out here and, get it all totaled. I guess one thing, talking with you guys, is maybe we wanna add something in for easements. You want us to do some easements for you, or do you have a surveyor that you do easements through, or?
No, we might as well have you do
Okay,
it.
so yeah, like,
But you're right there.
yeah, it's time and material, so I will just do it and let you know, like, I'll get a price of what it's gonna be. I don't wanna say off the top of my head what it'll be, because I just don't wanna do that.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, I don't like saying that, so, yeah, if you guys approve it, we'll get going. I'll try to get, as soon as I get this, I was waiting for this amendment, so that if you guys did wanna move forward with this, we could do the topo for the culvert project and, this extension at the same time.
Save us a few bucks by
Yeah.
having the crew in town once.
Yep.
Okay, so MSA is seeking an amendment to the contract in the amount of $5,800 for the Diamond Club project, or whatever it's being called. My understanding.
sewer extension.
Sewer
Oh, yeah,
extension
sewer
project.
extension.
Okay, so an amendment to the existing contract, or the contract for $5,800 for the sewer extension project.
Yes.
I move approve the extension. or
Moved
the
by
amendment.
Saracen,
Second.
second by Trump. Any other discussion on this from council? Guy, do you want to add anything on this?
No.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. You've got your amendment. You
All
can
right.
proceed forward.
Alright. And I also just wanted to point out that we did print off a picture of Muthart Street. I didn't see it earlier. It's-
We did. Looks very nice. That's very nice. We appreciate
I
it.
didn't pick out the frame or do anything, so that's why I just did it.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and recognize Councilman Shantz. I think he has further on this.
No, I got nothing to do with
Okay.
you, it's a different subject. I would like to see us get in contact with our attorney to see about getting some of these places cleaned up. Like I'm thinking, I don't want to mention names, but north of town here, the cars go away Now they're all back in again.
Notice abatement,
Yes,
yeah.
and the same thing.
I think we did have some contact, but they didn't get back to us or
Waiting
something we
to
were
hear
working
back.
on.
Correct.
Is it something where I need to get involved or
I
not?
think you need to call our attorney and let him know that we're not back burner, because we are right now back burner. We don't get any response out of him.
I'll
Days,
start-
Weeks. without
Start with an
response.
email on Carbon Council.
Thank you.
How about that?
And railroad's been in here. They've threatened them, and I don't know.
So I called today to get an update on that, I haven't heard back yet, to see if they've been back.
But see, they're violating they got stuff stored on railroad.
Yeah, too close. I know that we had an agent, they got a Waterloo come down once before, and we'll just readdress the issue.
Well, the thing that bothers me, I've expressed this fact that cold weather's coming on, and we've already had several animals that got raccoons and whatever.
Sure.
That are, I'm not saying they're rabies, but they're sick.
Right. Distemper or something.
Whatever it is, I have no idea, but, they're looking for a place they can stay in out of the weather. All we need is some child to get bit
Yep.
or scratched or whatever by some sick animal,
Yep.
and we'll be in a world of hurt.
I'll address it immediately.
That's all I had to say.
Before we adjourn, other questions or comments from council? Joe? Guy? Danielle? Okay, hearing nothing else, oh, I'm sorry, chief, anything? Hearing nothing else, then I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Menson, second by Crum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries. Thank you for
Thank
attending
you.
this evening, we appreciate it. Always appreciate people coming to our council
Thank
meetings.
you. Thank you.